On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, we are risking it for the biscuit by attending the NFL draft. You guys didn't go, but what do you think about the guys that are going? We're going to talk about that. And Fred, Santana, and I, we're going to sell you something good, something sweet, a prospect in this class that is very, very special. Yeah. And I will say, Fred is a great salesman. All right, then we got Hater Jason in the house. We're going to talk about our draft day anxieties. What are we worried about? Guys, don't worry. Adam Peters is here, rocking you to sleep. In Adam Peters we trust. Yes. It all starts right now. Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. We have some exciting news. Santana, you had a charity golf tournament this weekend, 89 Ways to Give charity golf event. Yeah. I wasn't able to go because I was on vacation, which I'm really bummed about. And Fred was telling me how good he was hitting the ball.
Smooth DeChambeau.
Jason was telling me hit a couple golf balls. And Anna and Maddie and all the producers said they were driving the carts around.
Ryan hit a couple of balls out there. Yeah.
I know. So it sounds like a really nice event.
It was a great turnout. I mean, just to say the least, bro, it's gratifying just to see the people that support you. You know what I mean? So a big shout out to my Command Center crew, all the guys that's behind the scene, Jason, Maddie, Kayla Key, Caroline, Anna, all of them showed up. Ryan was there. Man, that was big because I didn't know at what capacity they was going to come, and I saw them in their gear and I was like, oh, they coming to golf. And it was funny because we getting ready to golf and no one seen Smoot. So they was probably like, where's Smoot? And I'm like, his birthday was last night, so just bear with him. Bear with him, he'll be here. But no, man, honestly, from the Command Center guys that I work with now and from the, former Redskins / Commanders who are football players that all showed up, man, and everybody else, man, who made the event special, man. Hats off to y'all. I appreciate y'all. We can't do what we do in the community without them. And I think that's one of the biggest things that, that I love about it because it shows you that, it's easy for me to support others when people support me,
And so what's it for? Like, what's
I tell everybody, cut and dry, you hear so many different foundations saying, well, we give back to this and that. Man, we just a foundation that I started way beyond my years of playing football that I wanted to just give back to the inner city or any neighboring city that I'm around
any needed people,
that I can just support, and I can do it personally myself. When I was younger, I did everything out of my pocket, and then I got with good people. They're like, bro, people will help you do this.
Yeah.
And so since I've been here, I rebranded the name to 89 Ways. It used to be the Santana Moss Foundation, then it changed to the Moss Brothers Foundation, and I rebranded the name to just 89 Ways to Give because the area knows me as that guy who wore the 89.
89.
So it's just been a thrill each and every year working with some of the folks, and I must say this: we give Fred Smoot a lot of flack for whatever, from us fat-checking them and doing other things, because the pair of lips always tell lies with him.
Always tell lies.
But this dude is the best seller I ever had at any auctioneer. I guess you call him auctioneer. He does it 2 years in a row, and I couldn't get nobody else that job. So I got to pay him for that next time around because he did such an amazing job, man.
And he had one of my teammates from high school there shock me to death.
Yeah.
My guy Andrew Howard. When I seen him in there, I was like, you in the right place? What are you doing? Yeah, man, I came out here. So shouts out to that, man. One of my older teammates. He was a 12th grader when I was a 10th grader. He watched me lose my mind.
Yeah.
It was all good.
And he said this, because we always ask questions about how this guy was growing up. The guy said, if whatever way he is now, he was worse then. So there you have it.
Which is hard to imagine.
No, I was lashing out because I felt like I should be playing at that time.
It was all football related.
It was all football related. And my coach was like, you got to wait your 10. His ball is in front of you. We're going to the state championship game. I was like, I'm better than him. So they wouldn't let me play early, so I started crashing practice. I started choking receivers out. I started burning DBs.
I can only imagine.
I started crashing out at practice, man. That what happened.
That's a wild story.
Fred's so good at selling stuff. I don't know if you can see in the control room up there on the speaker. He convinced Ryan, I think, to buy that up there. It's like a bulldog holding a tray with wearing sunglasses.
Serving
we have no idea what that is, but someone bought it, and it was
serving
Ryan.
Up
he
dogs,
got Ryan,
man. Serving up dogs,
he
man.
Job,
sometimes people really want to buy stuff.
Yeah.
They just need to okay.
Yeah.
They need to just know it's okay. Like I told them when I was up there, we had one particular item. I was like, this is good. Great item. I said it's a sugar daddy item. I know who's gonna buy this out. Sugar daddy. You get your sugar daddy on. This one is for you, right here. It went off the ship. Just like that. Just like that.
Yeah. He got the wrong profession right now. He should have been auctioning off cars and houses.
Oh my
and stuff.
gosh. Jeez.
He be that guy that you be sleeping. You hear him when you like, "Ooh, you got the TV on," and you see Fred up there. No, you got to watch it. This lovely watch. I can see it on your mom's arm right now.
The guy that's on at 2 a.m. just.
But I enjoyed Raspberry Farm as a course because I love the mountains. The setting was great.
Raspberry Falls.
Raspberry Falls. Yeah. And I enjoyed that course. I played it and smooth down Shambo. I be ripping it.
Are you good at golf?
I'm great at everything.
Yeah, man. There you go. We can say
He's great at everything.
We can say off
Okay, so if you want to kind of check out Tana's charity, it's 89waystogive.org. So you can help him out there. And obviously, Tana's such a great guy and all he does for the community. So you can support him there, check it out, and maybe attend next year. To the
I will say this. You don't have to wait for next year. My birthday weekend, May 31st, I'm having my first annual, it's called Santana's Kingpin Tournament. It's going to be a bowling tournament.
Dude,
so now
I'm coming.
So
I'm
now,
coming. Look at his face.
Thanos will be there.
Now we get to if y'all want to see that matchup, hopefully me and Fred is on the same team because I think it's going to be people signing up to beat us.
Yeah.
So hopefully we on the same team. I'm trying to get all us be on the same team against these other, fans and people who come into the tournament.
No.
But
don't do that.
yeah,
Don't
so if
do
you're
that.
looking forward to, or you want to participate in that, go on the website. We should have that up pretty soon. It'll be May 31st.
And that's so funny.
Yeah.
Your mama, me and your mama share the same birthday. Well, my mama's birthday is May 31st.
And mine's the June 1st.
June 1st. So it's right there.
So damn, we
were supposed to be.
So she a Gemini.
Yeah, we were supposed to be brothers anyway.
Let me find out.
That's so funny. All right, now a little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, check out the website, support Santana's charity. That's fantastic stuff that he's doing in the community. All right, housekeeping. All right, because it's draft week, we got our other podcast, Ticket to the Draft. We did a 7-round mock draft, came out yesterday with Fred and
My brother.
Yeah, and
Jeremy Green.
Jeremy Green. And they kind of talk the same. They don't look the same, but they talk the same. A lot of metaphor, very funny guys.
Yeah.
And went through every single draft pick. It took us like, an hour and a half?
It did. It was a long pod.
Long time. Lots of debates there about players. Fred has some of the talk about Fred selling stuff, man.
I listened to him on the show the other day.
We come up to a player and he'd sell that guy hard.
No, your guy, Aurora. I tried to get him.
Yeah.
I tried to sell him. They fought back, but I was like, no, this is the dude right here. And we was arguing over a 2nd round pick on him.
Yeah, 61. Yeah.
61. I'm like, come on, dude. This is a chess piece right here.
You should definitely check out the argument. It was masterful.
Yeah,
like
I
if
think
we had
he's not
been
a finished product, so he'll be all right.
Yeah. But obviously exciting player Arroyo. But we see all the guys we pick, see the conversations. Lots of really great analysis. Make sure you check that out. And then we got Command Center Live Draft Night. That's on Thursday.
Yep,
Thursday.
yep,
So
yep,
tomorrow. Yes.
yep.
Tomorrow. And it's on 6 p.m. on YouTube. And so basically the draft starts at 7.
Yep.
We're on at 6. Okay.
Yep.
So we're on an hour before, and then we're on live during the pick. So there's lots of times where we're live, we have to go away, and then we come back. So make sure you click that subscribe button, the bell, the notification button. It's going to get you back to us when we are live. Because we are going to have the best analysis of the pick. Because who knows the team better than we do in terms of national media. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and then hit that notification button.
Yeah, if I could sell it like Fred Smoot, there's the draft room, the war room.
It's right next door.
It's right next door to here.
Yeah.
So they're literally DQ, AP, like we're talking with them. We're going to see if we can get it to happen.
Yeah.
I'm confident it will. They're just going to make the pick, walk right on out, walk right in here, talk to you guys about the pick. So nobody else is going to get that. No other.
This is where the soup is made.
This is it. So if you want all your Commander stuff, it's right
This is
here.
where the soup is made at.
Yeah,
right
love that. Hey, that's a great sell. You're challenging Fred Smoot for selling stuff.
Yeah, I personally don't care what Mel Kiper has to say. I want to hear what AP has to say. He's the one that's actually doing it.
Dude, if you want analysis, who better?
Then the guy that's pushing the button.
The guy that's like, this is my pick.
First of all, Mel Kiper and the Weatherman been lying for over 100 consecutive years. All right? That's what they do.
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of draft content and getting ready for the show this week. And there are some wacky takes out there.
First of all, people are all over the board. Like I literally heard on the radio yesterday, I was listening to the Junkies. A old GM came on from the Jets and said the most absurd thing I ever heard about Shedeur Sanders.
What did he say?
He said, I have, and this is a Jets GM. So evidently you ain't been doing your job good, all right? He said he's undraftable. That's what I had on my paper. Undraftable. I came right on next on B. Mitch show. B. Mitch, I hit B. Mitch up in Finley. Hey, let me come on. I want to defend.
That wasn't Tannenbaum, was it?
It wasn't Tannenbaum.
Might have been.
I was there with him.
Yeah, it wasn't Tannenbaum.
That's why I came over here.
It wasn't Tannenbaum. But he got on there and said this absurd stuff. I said, I'm going to tell you as an ex-football player who I think Shedeur is. One of my classmates.
This is a lofty comp, by the way.
But they said Drew Brees was too small. They said Drew didn't have enough gas in it. They say Drew can't throw over offensive linemen. They say the same thing about Shedeur. Shedeur is Drew Brees with a gold chain.
I'm going to tell you like this, though. When you really look at it, and I don't want to get too long on this, when you look at some of the stuff that comes out before the draft, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know. All they can go off is your college performances of the last 3 to 4 years. And if you look at what this kid done, the only thing that he has done that ticked them off is his mouth. That's what his dad did. Yeah. But his dad had a little more
pizzazz, a little flair
about himself, and he played a different position. So you need those guys to do that. They ain't used to seeing quarterbacks do that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I feel like he put himself in that situation of talking the way he's talked. But he's going to be the one to get the last laugh because I feel like he is capable of going out there and being a good quarterback in this league. So I'll leave that alone.
I mean, there's two things here that I think are really important. One is Mel Kiper Jr. has him as his number one player, number one quarterback. He says he's going to be the first player, first player taking over Cam Ward. So that's the level of kind of difference you can
Vastness.
get. You can get, like, there was a guy I was talking to somebody about Shamar Stewart the other day. They're like, I have him at 61. I have him at 22, but there's a guy that I know who has him at 8. Like,
I know a guy that got him at 105 because the stats didn't match.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on, right? So it's important to keep that in mind. And then, like, the other thing, I don't know. We can talk about this. We'll talk about it later. But the draft is funny.
That's how it is.
This year's draft is especially funny. And the other thing, this is what you said, Tana, this is what I was thinking about, is everyone comes out and says, I heard this from so-and-so on a team. Mm-hmm. Teams know that you are in the media. Yeah. They know you're going to say this.
They're not telling, but sometimes they weaponize it. Sometimes they weaponize it.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they want the player to fall to them.
Yes. Like, there's all sorts of craziness. People are like, I'm tracking 30 visits. Every team uses 30 visits differently. They use them differently, right? So some people are bringing people in because they have red flags on them. They want more information. Some people use them as smoke screens. Some people use them to indicate people are actually interested in drafting. So this is silly season. We won't know for sure. I don't care who you are until Thursday night. And obviously we'll be here, and hopefully Adam Peters joins us, and we have we'll get all that insight and the kind of peek behind the veil there, which would be great. All right. So now let's get into our draft talk and discussion. It's Risk It for the Biscuit, attending the draft. And as always, Risk It for the Biscuit is presented by Marsh McLennan Agency, your partner in risk and people strategies. So when I say attending the draft, I'm not talking about as a fan. I'm talking about as a player. Those guys that are sitting in there in the green room waiting for their name to get called. My question to both of you is, would you ever have, when you were getting ready to come out, would you ever attend the draft?
We both turned it down. When we had the chance to. I'm gonna go with Marsh McLennan on this one. All right, going to the draft is a risk, first of all, and if you're a person, people that got a strategy, you know to sit at home with your family.
I think so too.
Sit at home with your family, good, bad, ugly, in between. You do not want third-degree Aaron Rodgers face. You do not want to sit there while pick after pick goes through. And I don't know how these guys, the ones that sit there and then come back the next day, I don't know what they thinking. Like, at the end of the day, the pain has already happened. I would rather be with my family, be with my friends, be with the people that was there with me before this day even happened.
Yeah, I'm going with both of y'all. You and what you call it, Marsh
McLennan?
I didn't want to mess the word up, so I'm going to let you say it. But honestly, man, don't get me wrong. Like, me and Fred both had potential of being first-round draft picks. We understood why Fred fell a little bit because of, his extracurricular activities. Yeah, the stuff he did off the field,
Thank you.
We're not surprised, right? 30 years later. But honestly, when they called me and told me, hey, you had the opportunity, my agent, he knew what time it was. I'm just not that guy. First of all, I don't want the camera on me. I remember all the news outlets that wanted to participate with my little draft gathering. I told them, y'all got to wait outside on Front Street. You know what I mean? Like, when I get a call and they say they finna pick me, then I'll let you in. Because I didn't want that drama. I didn't want the drama, the speculation, the whole leading up to it. Because it's all for them. It's for them to sit there and be like, oh, you see him now, he's over here pasting. Or they would have been saying, he's taking a shot of the hand right now. I just saw him take a shot. He's getting nervous. It's getting nerve-wracking for him. But I just didn't want that for me or my family because I had no expectations. All I knew is that they said first round potential. And whether it was going to be early or later, I just knew that I'm going to get drafted. So whether it was going to be in the first round or another time, I just was like, look, when that call come, I'm going to be excited, I'm going to be ecstatic, and I'm going to roll with the punches then.
I got a question for both of you guys. Did your agents have an idea of where you would be drafted? Like what team was maybe interested? Because I feel like at the top, it's a little bit easier to slot.
So I told you one of the things about Drew Rosenhaus, man, and he's not called a shark for a reason. They had me everywhere up in that first round. I tell you, the two guys at my pro day said if he was 5'11", he'd be the first receiver come off the board that year.
How crazy is that?
And it's crazy because I was like, that's devastating to tell somebody who brushed their behind. But at the same time, like I said before, to me that's just talk. And unless this happens, I'm not tripping on it. But leading up to that day, it was all Washington. All Washington. So my agent was saying the same thing. Like, look, bro, he has a possibility. We don't know. So I'm not going to get your hopes up high. And my hopes damn sure weren't going to be high because I wasn't finna sit there and be, set on one team. I know how this thing go. I watched draft all my life. So I knew that it's things happen in the draft that get funky at times. Yeah. But the day of the draft, it went from, we knew Washington was one of the teams, then EJ had told me whispers of the Colts was going to get me. If I fell from Washington, the Colts said they was going to be next. And it's crazy how it happened. Washington didn't get me. The Jets jumped up in front of everybody and got me at 16.
So kind of a surprise then.
Yeah.
Surprised me.
No, this is what the draft is.
How about you? Did you know?
I was hell-bent on thought I was going to Tampa. I had talked to Tampa like more than anybody. And they ended up drafting Kenyatta Walker, a guy from Mississippi.
Kenyatta Walker, you're right.
Yeah, they're like a big offensive tackle. And I'm thinking they finna pull the trigger on me at the time. And like I said, I didn't really zero in on anybody. Like I didn't talk to enough people that I was like, when you talk to top corners, it's me and Nate Clemens. It ain't really nobody else besides us. So I'm like, whoever the corner need a team, that's where I'm going. And guess what? If I would have been that DB taken in the first round, I would have been in Miami because they took Jamar Fletcher.
Yeah.
At the time.
Forgot about
Which
him.
Fred Smoot did not need to be in Miami at 20 years old.
I think Miami probably knew that too.
Thank you. Miami would have chewed me up and spit me back out.
So how many DBs went before you? Or how many
Just
corners?
two.
Just two.
Just
So you were the third
him
guy.
and Nate, Nate and Jamar Fletcher. So it was like one of them things where once you in the storm, you don't care who really pick you.
Yeah.
You just like, I just want to get picked.
And then my take on that too, you got to think because Fred might have a different journey, but my journey was so bumpy getting into college to just know that I'm finna leave college as a draft pick on the first day.
Yeah.
They could have had a new team pop up and say they picked me.
33rd team.
I didn't even care. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, man, I just walked on 4 years ago and now I'm getting drafted. And, potentially first round.
Yeah.
So I was okay regardless.
And so you guys didn't go, obviously, but like, what did you guys end up doing? Just hanging out?
So
Or just,
and I tell my story first. It was everyone thought my family, like both sides, they thought, Tanner finna throw it down because this is something big. Bro, I had my intermediate family. The house I lived in, the people that lived there, they was there, and my two homeboys and my girl. That's all we did. We sat right there. And then I had my agent, of course, and I had one aunt. I think I had one of my aunts who was closer to my dad. That's it. And I didn't want no one else in there. And
like food or anything?
Oh, we ate. We ate and drunk good. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we was sitting there for a minute.
The libations was there.
Yeah, but it just was like, if I had to count the people on hand, in two hands, probably no more than 10 people.
Yeah.
And because I heard the craziness that goes on. And then I also went to Edgerrin James on. I was there for his when he got picked. And I remember the big party we had. But that was crazy because he didn't expect to go in front of Ricky Williams. It was a surprise that they went up and got him first. So
and on that Ricky Williams trade, they traded with Washington. Y'all know that, right?
Oh, I didn't even remember.
Off of that Ricky Williams trade, we got Champ, LeVar. Like, we got picks out of that thing. Because
Well, Buddy was tripping who got Ricky Williams. What his name is?
Mike Dicker.
Mike Dicker. He gave up the house.
He gave up the house.
He gave up the house. Now, I had on the fresh all white suit, but I with my family. He
tried to look like he was getting dressed for Easter Sunday, knowing that he ain't partaking none of the festivities on Easter Sunday.
Singing in the choir. But it was just me and my family.
Yeah.
You know, we chilling, man. Like, it's another day for me. Like I said, I wanted destination. I was so caught up on where am I want to know the city.
Yeah.
Like, so I can look at the roster, first of all, and see who's on the roster.
Tell me this, I didn't ask you this question before. Knowing that who you were as a player, because you was a corner that arguably no one could deny that you was one of the top in our class.
Yeah.
When you saw the other two guys, did that bother you?
It bothered me.
Because you knew kind of like, damn.
It bothered me, but I know it wasn't their fault.
No, it wasn't their fault.
My
It's your fault.
Yeah, so it bothered me in a way, but also I was like, some good gonna come out of this.
Yeah.
And the blessing was I came here.
Yeah.
And coming to Washington, not only did I find a team I wanted to be on, but I found home. Now I live here.
Yeah, you
This
live
is
here.
my home.
Yeah.
I can't say going to some of them other cities, would that be my home?
Yeah, that would have been your home.
And then did you guys fly out that same night and go to the team? Or did
Well,
you
they
guys...
flew you up.
So
Well, I don't know what the Jets
So
did.
the Jets told me, man, enjoy your time, man. You know,
it?
enjoy your time with your family. I didn't come up to them until it was time to go to practice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, to minicamp. I didn't come to minicamp.
different.
Yeah,
now.
they private jets us up and show coach me and old Rod Gardner.
Yeah.
So they treated us
Yeah,
like
I
it
was
was.
gonna say it's crazy because Rod Gardner got picked before me.
Yeah.
and that's how this thing,
How backwards it is.
how crazy it gets. Because like when I saw Rod, like I said, I care less if they'd have picked 10 receivers in front of me. Like I say, me getting picked that day was
Yeah, it was a
everything.
big deal. Mhm.
So when I saw Rod Gardner, the first thing popped in my head, like, that's the team that everybody been telling me I was going to. And look, they picked Rod. Had no clue of the story that went on here. Didn't know nothing. I was just like, oh well, because I got picked the next pick.
Yeah.
It
Then
didn't match though. We
Yeah.
already had Michael Westbrook. We already got a 6'4" wide receiver. Why you drafting another big old dude?
What was crazy is every year, so I get to New York and I'm in training camp, mini camp. So the guy who a lot of people know of now, Lockett, who's in the league, Lockett uncle was Kevin Lockett.
Yeah, played here.
He played here, and he got traded to us.
Yeah.
And the first thing he told me, he said, "Bro, Dan Snyder and Schottenheimer, they butted heads on that pick because Dan Snyder wanted you the whole time.
Yeah.
It was you on his board, and Schottenheimer went opposite and got a tall receiver. And I promise you, I swear to God, it was the craziest. The next that offseason, Schottenheimer got fired, and Dan Snyder called my agent trying to trade for me, and the Jets was like, nah. So he tried to trade every year until the year I came, and that's the year he didn't try, and I ended up coming over. So.
And I was taking it out on Rod at prep because I had just played against Rod at Clemson. We just blew them out. I had him to like 0 yards. And every day at practice, because I was still lashing out because I had been dropped in the draft, I would say, this is who y'all picked before me? The same guy that I shut down? This is what y'all doing? And so I was like really high strung on it. As you see now, the stories, and once I get high strung on something, I don't let it go.
Yeah.
How'd Rod take it? Was he pissed about that?
He
or-
probably laughed.
Yeah,
Rod
he
didn't
giggling, laughing. I wasn't laughing.
Rod gave no F's. You hear me?
Yeah,
Rod came out and played some football and kept it going.
Yeah, listen.
Rod, I don't know Rod like that, but just being around him,
Yes.
he's easy going dude. Man. Good
He
guy.
don't care about that.
Good guy.
All right, so that's a little bit about their draft stories and what's going on and why they didn't go and why I would never also go to the green room for the draft. But here's a list of the guys that are going to be going. And of this list, I think we should talk about guys that we think are maybe should watch out, guys that could be commanders and fall to us at 29. So let's start. Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama. Jahad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama. Will Campbell, O-tackle from LSU. Abdul Carter, obviously edge from Penn State. Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas. Mason Graham, DT from Michigan. Travis Hunter, wide receiver, Colorado. And Ashton Genty, running back, Boise State. Will Johnson, Fred's guy from Michigan, cornerback.
Baller.
Tetro McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. Jalen Milroe, quarterback, Alabama. Malachi Starks, Georgia, safety. Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M. Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami, I think will be the first pick. And then Maxwell Hairston, cornerback, Kentucky.
And you say all of these guys are attending the draft?
They are attending the draft.
all of these.
All these
As
guys,
of right now.
As of right now.
As of right now. They
As
could
of
back
right-
out, but as of the day before the draft, they're the ones scheduled.
Can we go down here and say who should not? Who should not attend?
So tell me who should not.
Come on, like some guys should not attend.
I look at this list and the name that is, and everyone's talking about it nationally. The names it's flashing in yellow neon lights
Is Milroe.
Is Jalen Milroe, and I like Milroe,
Yeah.
but I don't like him as a first round player necessarily.
But how many times do we see them reach for a quarterback?
Yeah.
Like that's like the ultimate reach position. And here go the thing about it. Once they got a good comp for you, and now they got him comped as a faster version
I
of
was gonna say
Jalen
that.
Hurts.
Yeah, I was just
Somebody gonna say, you know what? we can draft him, just let's not start him.
Yeah.
And if I'm not going to start him, I need to get that 5th year. And the only way to get that 5th year is to draft him in the first round. So I think it's more strategy than is he ready.
Yeah.
No, I think a team like Pittsburgh just salivating, I can't wait to draft him and put him behind so and so and so and so and let him grow.
You know what's crazy about the draft? Just seeing from the years of us coming up in this game and everyone wanted that prototypical quarterback, the one who can, dissect you from the pocket, manipulate you and everything, and has a, quick release. The Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, even the Bledsoes. You know what I mean? Those guys of before our time, during our time, you watched them talk highly of. If they found any quarterback with any inkling of that, caliber in their game, they wanted. Fast forward to today's game. What's today's game been? Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. It's the mobile quarterback. So when you see a guy, like Melrose who he's mobile. The things he did last year outside the pocket, running 70+ yard touchdowns. People, those coaches now saying that we could just get him in and be half as good as he was throwing the ball, better than what he showed last year. This year. And he can still give us that capability of running outside the pocket. We got ourselves something. They want the next best thing like they've seen that's taking these teams the distance. So that's why I'm not surprised that he's on that list.
Ain't that what coaches do? They see something and say, I can fix it. Like, ain't that the arrogance of a real coach?
You brought up Pittsburgh. That's a place I can see him going and kind of finding his way, because you got a great coaching staff,
a great defense,
you got a great offensive coordinator who know how to use the quarterback like that. So it's like, bro, if they defense could stay their defense, and then he could go out there and just
grow as the game,
get
every
better.
game.
Bro, I can see.
And he is a dynamic athlete. He ran a sub 4.40 at his pro day. Like, he can throw the ball.
And he rocked up.
He's big. And I think that maybe the most important thing that we as analysts watching film don't get to see is I have heard his football character is off the charts. Like leadership, like, you mentioned the Hurts comparison, right? Like great leader, dynamic in the locker room. People gravitate towards him. He's going to study, going to get better. I think if I know coaches, they're going to have an interview with him, and it's going to be like, oh, this dude's like,
this the dude.
This is the dude.
So tell me this, because you've been coaching for a long time in the high school level, and you come here and you talk to us a lot about certain guys you watch and you see and why you don't like him or why you think that he might get nod because of something you saw. If you was a guy and you say, okay, where he's at, he's not a finished product. But what he could be, would you take a chance on him being that you coach offenses and you saw his skill sets? Yeah,
so I do like Milroe. I just said that. I think he's maybe, like, this is not being hyperbolic. He's maybe one of the best runners in the class, right? Like he's dynamic, right? I think the problem is like the lack of consistency throwing the football. Seems like he's got to take a huge step to get there, which makes me a little bit nervous about him, right? Because like I was talking to some other people that I have a lot of respect for, and it's like, he can run. He's got the leadership, but ultimately you got to throw the football. And you look at Hurts, for example, like he sat for like basically a year and a half and was able to develop and grow and work on his mechanics and improve. Is he going to be afforded that same opportunity, and is he going to improve the same way?
He has to have that opportunity to blossom. Now, here's the thing about him and Hurts that I found very similar. Because they both jacked, they first thing is to throw hard. Right? When Jalen went to Oklahoma, he started to throw with touch. And that was a throwing team with a head coach that loved to throw the ball all over the yard.
That probably gave him that insight to do so, too.
Yes. So I just think once he learned to take a little bit off the ball and actually anticipate. Like, he one of them guys, because his arm's so strong, he wait till you get open. And then try to jam it in there. Like, I just feel like if you get around some pro coaching and build him up, he'll start to really throw the ball.
I was just going to say, man, we talk ad nauseum about, I guess you can say developing players. And I hate it because you see a lot of guys get into the league and they don't get developed because it's almost like they're getting rushed to be out there.
Michael Wayne Brady.
You see what I'm saying? And so this is a guy that I would love to see him a couple of years down the road after the team took that chance and see him get to the point to where we talking about now at throwing the ball, knowing how to get rid of the ball, anticipating passes. Because if you can find a way to get him there, with everything else, man, like you say, the leadership qualities, the way he runs with the football, That's where the game is going. That's where these teams want those kind of players because they understand those guys that's on the defensive edges now and in the interior are getting way bigger, faster, stronger. Yeah. We need somebody that can be able to move outside this pocket.
You need that fifth element.
I'm not questioning coaches or teams that's saying that, hey, this might be a guy that we can bring in and get him caught up to speed to be a better quarterback for us.
Yeah, I think when you look at the ball of clay with Jalen Milroe, it's definitely there, right? I think like you hit this, Santana, so I'm just kind of reiterating what you just said, is the problem with the NFL is it's not a developmental league. No. Basically, they say, oh, you can't do it, I'm going to get someone else. Yeah. And they literally, like, I've had that conversation.
I want the new thing.
Yeah, so like, oh, I can't teach you to do this? Shoot, I can find someone who can do that. Yeah. And that's where I think the difference between good coaches and kind of mediocre coaches at the NFL level lies, is the lack of development. So, interesting conversation there about Jalen Milroe. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully he's gone early on day one. And
Perfect
he doesn't
team
have to sit
might
around.
be the Raiders, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Sitting behind Geno and literally.
And you know that boy over there, he's like a quarterback whisperer a little bit.
Pete Carroll hate Harbaugh.
Is he known for offense, right? He's been known for offense.
His defense coach.
So I was always questioning that because when I knew that, a DQ was over there, I was like, well, who got the nod? Did he go with his defense or did he go with DQ
what
defense?
DQ learned from him is how to be the whole post of the whole team. That's what Pete Carroll do. Yeah. And listen, I love Pete Carroll because he hates on Harbaugh at a high level. No matter where Harbaugh go, Pete Carroll pop up like a rat. Huh? First of all, Stanford. Harbaugh was at Stanford winning with Andrew Luck. Guess who popped up? Pete Carroll was at USC winning that championship. So guess what Harbaugh say he gonna do? I'm going to the league. Where you going? I'm going to the 49ers. Pete Carroll said, all right, I'm going to Seattle. Yeah. I'm going to win the Super Bowl there. All right, guess what?
I think Harbaugh came after him.
No, well, Harbaugh came back to college. All right, Pete Carroll retired. Then Harbaugh said, I'm going back to the league. Get what Pete Carroll said.
Popped up.
I'm coming right back.
Popped up.
Are you going to be in my same division again? Yes, I am.
That's so funny.
I
don't think the Raiders take him at 6.
No, I'm talking about get back in the bottom of the first. Yeah. Get back in the bottom of the first. Take Genty with your first pick. That's a win now pick, and then take a win later pick in Milroe and put him behind Geno.
All right, let's talk about, let's make this a little bit more Commander-centric because I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I don't think they're taking Jalen Milroe in the first round. At 29, that doesn't feel like something the Commanders are going to do because we got a really good one here already. So
that make it hard for Milroe because our guy was ready. Yeah. Like ready. Ready.
All right, so of this list, do you see a commander? And while you guys are looking, I just want to say a couple things. I think there's 3 or 4 guys at the top that are going to go really early. And those guys are Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward. Those are 3 guys. Yeah. I'm going to throw Mason Graham in there too, but I think he could slide a little bit. But I think he's going to be
Will Johnson in there too.
Yeah, but see, so to me, everybody else that I didn't mention, I could see them going anywhere from 6 to 35.
All right.
And like that doesn't mean I don't like the players. I just think when you talk to people in this draft, like I had a conversation with someone yesterday about Will Johnson, and it was like, he's 40th on my board. Yeah. And I was like, you're a liar. Yeah. Like there's no way that's true. And he was being dead serious. Yeah. So it's this year specifically is so subjective. So throwing that out there, I think all of these guys have the potential to take a slide. I think Ashton Genty probably goes in the high 20s, late teens, and in a worst case scenario, but if he did take a slide, like it wouldn't totally surprise me because the running back value, if they can get a blue chip guy. But one guy in particular that I think fits this mold or embodies this at the highest level is Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama. Yeah. So I've seen him mocked in the top 10. I've also seen him in the bottom of the second round.
Yeah. I've seen him all over the place.
And I do think, just from what I've heard about him, that he is a Commanders football player. He is, everyone says his intangibles are excellent. He's like the leader of the offense and he plays left guard, right? He finishes. He's a little slow-footed, but he's long, he's big. He's like 325, he's 6'6". He's got these 34, 35-inch arms. So he's just a big man, strong man. Yeah. He's going to get better. He can play all 3 interior positions. And so if he were to take a little bit of a skid and he's sitting there at 29, like I think that just from like the off-field stuff, the way he plays the game, could totally be a commander, and I've brought that up to fans. They're like, I don't want to take a guard. Think about this: you got Laramie Tunsil, you got Tyler Booker, you got Biotis at center,
Yeah.
Cosme, and then Brandon Coleman.
Yeah.
Like that all of a sudden becomes
one of the best offensive lines in football. I told
just
us
like that.
Yep.
Just like that. And so that to me is one that I think would be really interesting if it were to take
Well,
a
I
little bit
will
of a slide.
one up you with this.
Okay, let's go for it.
All right, since you went Alabama, I'm going to the Lone Star State of Texas.
What we got?
Matthew Golden. I'm going to do Golden because he adds an element that's not on this team right now. They're just flat out gas packed. I'm talking about a guy that just can flat out, a clear out king is what I call him. Some players as a DB, when we see them on the field, we already know what route they got.
Yeah.
That don't mean you can stop it, but we already know what route you got. Do you know what Matthew Golden can open up for Debo intermediately? What he can open up for Zach Ertz intermediately? Like, this dude becomes a instant check with me player when he comes in the game. Hey, Matthew in the game. Hey, safety, get back a little bit. That just opened up a 15-yard window for them to hit a dagger.
Yeah.
So sometimes it ain't about the yards you bring. It's about what can you do for your teammates. I say Golden right there.
Do you think he plays that fast? I think he's my number one wide receiver. I think he plays incredibly. He does the fundamentals really well. Like,
Is he explosive? That's what I
don't know
ask.
if he's vertical.
Because I don't care about how fast you are in running your routes.
yeah.
I want to when he gets the ball in his hand, can he
gets
shake a guy in the phone booth and get downfield?
He gets
with it?
He gets separation
He
now.
gets separation. And I know what you're hitting at. He gets separation. Is he totally polished? No.
Yeah.
Do he play to the top of his speedometer all the time? No. But guess what? That's why you got these guys in this building to help mold players. Like, he hasn't reached his ceiling, and that's what I like in a draft. I don't want a finished product.
Yeah.
So if we were to take Matthew Golden 29, I'd be ecstatic because he's my number one receiver above Tetra McMillan.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, he can stop, start. He doesn't lose any speed in and out of his cuts. He catches the football like with great body control. Again, like he ran a 4.29 or 4, whatever it was, 4.32, whatever it was. He's fast.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've ever seen him run that fast. Like, like when you watch Maxwell Harrison, you're like, that dude's fast.
Yeah, because
with Matthew Golden, I'm always like, how fast are you really?
They go at some of these guys run so relaxed that they don't look like Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, he got this long stride, and I'll be like, oh, he moving, but it don't look like he moving. You see what I'm saying?
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Deceptive speed.
Yeah, deceptive speed.
No, I'm with you on that. So he's an interesting one. I mean,
ground.
him and Tetra McMillan both. I think I could see Tetra taking a little bit of a slide and be in there. Like, is that likely to happen? To me, probably not. But could it happen? Absolutely.
He remind me of Drake.
I love to see, I tell y'all, I'm gonna keep going with Mike Green. I love to see him, slide one down. They got him going at 28 to who that is in front of us?
Detroit. Yeah.
I love to see Detroit say, we fooled y'all. We want somebody else, and he be sitting right there for the taking. But then they got the dude Maxwell Harrison going to us at 29 on some people mock. So
he's a dog.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't deny that because I look at our defensive back situation now. It's great to have depth. We have some guys there that's capable. We have a guy who we just traded for last year late in the season, and not knowing how long he's going to be around the league, it'll be great to bring in a guy we just talked about how fast he was and playing in this defense. Man, we could just picture him in this defense with these coaches and this staff. Man, you can see that guy being one of the top guys along with Sanders still. So it's so many guys. Like we say, you don't know what's going to happen. But if I had to pick two, those two stand out to me because I love Mike Green, knowing that we just got rid of a guy like Fowler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has that same body type to me. Like, not so big, fast, twitchy.
Long,
can get
turn the
around
corner,
there.
can be in.
I'm sure he can learn a lot from some of those guys who's already there. If we don't get him, then Maxwell will be the next guy that I can see that, I love to be a commander.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I think there's a very good chance he could be there at 29. We'll see. But the other guy, I have a very high grade on Malachi Starks. He's like my 10th player in the first round. But I think like I've seen mocks where he takes a slide. And I think he fits that commander's mode. The flexibility, the nickel, the safety ability. And then Shamar Stewart also. Like some people have him as high at 8. Some people have him in the 60s. I think in terms of physical play style, athletic upside, just like kind of wired the right way from a competitive standpoint.
It scares me.
But at 29 though, is it that scary?
No. What scares me is I'm a film dude. I want to see you go make plays against other college players.
I'm with you.
And this dude numbers jump off the board, 40, vertical, bench press.
But you don't see it on film.
And then I look at his production.
Yeah.
And he got do we even got 4 sacks in 4 years?
It's 4.5 sacks over the last 2 years. So
all I'm saying is, if you didn't get them sacks on that college kid, can I say that you're going to turn the corner?
what were we just talking about? That this staff does really well.
Yeah, they set you up and put you in
And I just think about my guy Ryan Kerrigan. I think about Daryl Tapp.
Yeah.
Working with one of the freakiest athletes ever to come through the combine. And yet, dude, Freddie, he like had a very good pressure percentage.
No, he got one of the
So
highest
I'm just
pressure
saying,
rates.
if we just get that guy going in the right direction.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, you put him
At
in
29,
the right time.
man. At 29.
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying. I agree with you. I agree. But I'm just saying, like, you just said 29. It's like, why
all
not?
I'm saying is, if me and you was in the GM and we was in the scouting thing, and you was like, hey, Fred, I want you to check this guy out. He's a wide receiver, 6 feet tall, run a 4.2 40. And I'm like, oh my God.
You can't
42 is vertical. How many catches he got in college? Oh, he ain't got about 4. What can I do with that?
Yeah.
No, but I will. So this is the thing about defensive linemen, right? If they have a good athletic profile, ideally you want both. Good athletic profile, good production. Then that's like Jared Verse last year. Just put that thing on the tee, hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
If they have good athletic production, there are case studies where that does work out.
Yeah.
And I'm saying later in the first round, in a weaker draft, when you're like that, the ceiling on that is sky high.
But what would be what is the reasoning behind that lack of what is the reason behind that lack of productivity that will give you the right to say that I still want to take a chance?
Because it's the athletic profile.
The profile, but also like you played a lot of like tight to the tackle, 5 technique, 4-eye, like not hard to rush the pass from there, right? They were really worried about the RPO zone read stuff, so they're kind of doing all this
They was
pinching,
playing it
line
slow.
And so I do, but like when he flashes, man.
So you see the flash, you see that he has it in him.
Yes.
He just got to
And
be put in the right
when you go to the Senior Bowl,
situation.
man, when you watch, so this is Senior Bowl is like the best players in the country, right? Like the best college players. And when that dude comes onto the field, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster than every single person on the field. Is he the most refined person? No. But watching him bull rush Emory Jones, like lift him up like he's a small child and throw him into the quarterback in one-on-ones.
Yeah.
You're just like, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
See, I'm more.
Especially when you got other guys.
At 29, I'm not saying we
I'm
take
just
him in the top 10.
I ain't gonna lie. In my ingredients, I like the player that love the game more than I like the player that God's gift. Like God's gift.
And that's a great
can't
point.
be taught.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Like if we had an interview with him and he was bad interview, nah. But if he's like ready to go.
I just want to get better.
Yeah. Like that's a different thing. And that's why those 30 visits are so important. That's why the meetings at the combine are so important. But I do think when you look at this list, like I'd say there's 6 guys that could fall down to 29 that would be very good.
I asked this question because I always thought in first round selections, you want a guy that can capably come in and play right now. At what number you get to in the first round where you say, okay, these are guys that I'm taking a chance on that I feel like I just don't want him to go nowhere else, fall nowhere else.
So I just did my big board, my top 100, which is now on the Commander's website. You know how many people I have in tier 1? 3.
I'm sure 3.
3. Yeah. You know how many people I have in the second tier?
Probably 50, 60 plus.
No, tier 2. So like I have 5. So there's 8 players that I'm like, there's a reasonable chance to become good starters. So 1 to 8, we're okay. After that, it's a
free fall.
It's who's who.
Yeah, it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And that's what I'm saying with this people that are coming here. It's like, yeah, man, like there's a lot of names on here that people are like, no way they're going to be there at 29. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're going to see some crazy stuff in this draft that we haven't seen before.
We've seen it for years with the Raiders. The Raiders picked the fast guy for years that didn't have a lick of film, but he ran a 4.2.
Different though, doesn't it?
No, this year feels more erratic than I have ever seen any year. Like even to the point where I'm hearing, you know how you give your little brother something, he's like, you don't want this, but I'll take it anyway. This draft feels like,
It does feel that way.
I don't want Cam Ward, but I'll take him anyway. Like, it's this, it's like we forced to buy this stuff.
Yeah, well, you have to. That's what you're picking.
You're picking, and it's like nobody want to go to the grocery store. Like, it's like everybody like, yeah, whatever. But I'm like, to me, this is the most blue collar. After having that star-studded draft last year,
very blue collar.
this is blue collar. So this is what I'm saying. It's tons of starters in this draft. It might not be tons of Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers, but when I say tons of guys that, how should I say, run some guys out of the league, a lot of these guys are going to replace a lot of stalwart guys.
I have a question.
Hater.
No, I ain't even.
Oh, my fault.
I have a legit
thought you had
question
went in.
here. So because they're all kind of bunched up, how important is like the 30 visits, the interview process and stuff like that we're not privy to, and most of the national media isn't privy to, that's going to decide a lot of this order.
That's the most intimate time you got with them.
It's probably, I don't want to say it's the most important. The film's most important, but then it's like.
Yeah. But when I say intimate time, I don't feel like the combine is intimate.
But I wonder
the
how much
combine
they
a
get out of that.
circus.
I wonder how much the coaches get out of that just having that sit down with those guys. Because you got so many other guys around, you know, you're not really getting that
combine,
intimacy. No, I'm just talking about these little visits when they come and meet like with 4 or 5 other guys, you know?
So what I'd say is you asked me something, Tana, about like coaching high school ball. And what the main thing of high school ball is, it's getting to know the kid.
Yeah.
And if I know the kid, I know what they can do, I know how they're wired, I know how to communicate with them, I'm like, okay, that's literally like more important than talent, more important than
Because you feel like you can at least kind of lead him to
Then you know what to put on them.
Yeah, and so that's what these visits are about. You know what I'm saying? It's like, can this guy, Shamar Stewart's a great example, who is an athletic freak, is he mentally wired in a way that I can communicate with him?
Yeah.
Do I want to communicate with him? Is he a big idiot? Like,
Yeah.
I remember I had a meeting with a guy, I talked with a coach last year, and I said, oh, what do you think about player so-and-so?
Yeah.
He's like, he's a good player, but I don't like him as a person.
Yeah.
So they're not going to draft that guy.
Yeah, because they don't. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though the kid, like the film was great, he's like, I just don't like him.
Yeah.
And so that's where that is so important, because who are you going to invest more time with? The guy that you like? The guy that you're motivated to be around every day? Yeah, that guy. And so that's where these visits, it's just to give you an insight about like, this is how Santana Moss is wired. This is how Fred Smoot's wired.
Yeah.
And can I make this work in our organization?
Yeah, because I was just basically trying to piggyback off of Jason's question, because I remember being on visits and I'm like, man, there's too many guys for y'all to really get to know. You might ask them questions to me. Like I know in my visits, they ain't get to know nothing about me because I'm in there, I barely said anything.
Yeah.
When they pulled my film up, I sat there and in the back, they was like, oh yeah, everybody was like, oh, I want to see his film. And then the guys was like, oh, well, you was a hands catcher. I didn't think you, they were ready to knock me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But those was the guys that was competing against you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And I'm sitting there quiet. So the guy, I remember we was in Kansas City and the guy was like, what his name? Winston. Because I had his brother in New York, but it's crazy. That's probably why he got me.
Yeah.
But his brother at KC at the time, I forgot his name. I'm going to be mad. It's going to come up to me later. He saved my highlight for last. And I remember one of the guys in our draft class, he actually went to, did he go to KC? He wore 89 and he went to Green Bay. What his name is from Texas.
Oh, I know exactly who you talking about.
He wore 89.
He gonna hit me.
So when he put it on, he was like, oh yeah, I want to see this. Because everybody, and I'm like, well, damn, dog.
Robert Ferguson,
Ferg, and Rob, my boy.
Yeah.
And then after he watched the highlights, say, oh, I didn't know he was a hands catcher. I thought he caught everything with his butt. I'm like, only when I got to, buddy.
Yeah.
And I just laughed it off. So the guy told me, he hit me, say, Tan, I did that on purpose because I know you the only guy in here ain't brag about yourself yet, and you our guy on our list, but we know we ain't gonna be able to get you.
Yeah.
But getting back to what I was talking about, you don't really get a chance to know these guys for that little bit of time you have them, especially when they're around other guys.
But I think it's interesting because, like, even in that conversation, like
they got to know something.
He did know a little bit about
the coach
me.
knew you.
Yeah.
He got to know you.
Yeah.
The coach knew a little bit about Ferguson,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like that's why like they took him to Topgolf last year, right?
Yeah.
See how they interact,
How they
see how
interact
get
with the guys.
along, and that's really what you're trying to figure out, right? If it works. So,
No, because I had a coach, because I took a trip to KC, me, Snoop Menace, all of us was on the same trip. And first thing they wanted to do with me was put me on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
And I thought it was to peek to see my football knowledge, IQ. I think they just wanted to see how I communicated football. Because they weren't asking me no question that I couldn't answer. Like, I'm zipping through that. Oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do this right here. And if he move right here, I'm going to do this right. So, and I think they just wanted to see how, because I was known as a trash talker. They want to know, do he really talk trash or is he
How's
just an
the IQ?
educated talker?
Yeah, how's the IQ?
So that's what it was about with me.
No, and I think that's right. And I think like another thing I talked to somebody recently about, like, you know, if you're not going on 30 visits, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you said you didn't go on visits, right?
Yeah.
And they said, well, they know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know what you're about, so they don't need to know more information. So if you're coming on visits, they're trying to
Figure something out.
figure you out.
And then also we forget how many times they reach out to those high school teachers, girlfriends, cousins.
Elementary.
Like, man, when I say I bumped into people in the street, they was like, yeah, I talked to the NFL for you. And I'm like, They called you?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like you get surprised by it because you didn't know it was to that extent. Like, you you extremely trying to dive as deep as you can to know
learn
this
the
kid
person.
and see who he is. And it's crazy because that's one of the things, like, especially in certain households. Like, my dad always used to tell me, man, what he used to say? The first impression is the best. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, whatever they think of you, to me, even if you don't open your mouth, whatever you showed them, that's going to be everlasting. You know what I mean?
That's lasting.
And so I used to always say to myself, regardless if I'm going to do, when I get around my homeboys, I like to have fun.
Yeah.
When I come into this meeting, I'm going to show them that I'm about my business. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you think back of all those people that you crossed paths with, whether you was a-hole to them or not, you be like, well, damn, I hope they ain't talk to the wrong. I never cared because I know I've always been a cool dude. You know what I mean? Hey, look, I don't know you from nothing, so I ain't finna go out my way and be somebody that I ain't. But when you think about it, you be like, well, damn, that's why certain guys don't get a chance to see that team or two that may have a high grade on them because they found out that maybe we don't want to bring that headache in here. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Like, I heard you talking about it the other day. You was like, look, I'm taking a chance on a guy who's a great football player if he got a couple of problems, because I can always coach that. I can get him around somewhere where we going to love on him. We'll get the best out of him.
Yeah, especially if I got the right veterans in here. They gonna make sure you good. Yeah. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, would I have said that 3-4 years ago? No, we just can't do it. We ain't got the capacity.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for that section on the draft and the meetings and why it's important. Well, let's move to the next thing, and it's called Sell Me Something Good.
Tell me something good.
And so basically, we're all going to pick a prospect, and it doesn't need to be a fit for the Commanders, but we're just going to sell that player to you, the audience, and why we like him. And you want to start? Because I was thinking about your Arroyo sales pitch earlier, and I thought that should be the one you do today.
No, listen, I just love, just going back through that pitch, I just think he's a weapon.
So Arroyo, Elijah Arroyo from Miami.
From Miami. He's fast. He's big. He's strong. When you bring him in the game, the first question the defensive coordinator got to ask, who am I putting on him? Safety, corner, linebacker, move guy. I think he can do everything. He's a chess piece. The one thing I think when you building an army, you want an arsenal. All right? I just can't have 100 tanks and no planes. I need to have tanks, planes, Jeeps, automobiles. I need it all. I need diversity. All right? I don't need all my tight ends to look the same. I don't need them to play the same. I don't want my running backs to all look the same. I don't want them to play the same. Just like my wide receiver group. If you add Aurora to this, like I told you, imagine goal line, earth set tight. We did motion Debo to the backfield. Second motion is Aurora coming across the formation. Once JD5 starts to roll that way, you don't know what to do. You don't know who got who, first of all. First thing they got to say is, which one of us on Debo? That's the argument between the corner and the safety. All right? The next argument is between the safety and the linebacker. Who got Aurora? Huh? Guess who that came open? Zach Ertz for his 119,000 touchdown. All I'm saying is that dude is a move piece. You can and then you playing him sparely. Yeah. All right, so it ain't like he a legit starter. Yeah. He just an alert, just like Debo is alert. When he come in, defensive player, we're gonna alert when them two come in. When they come in as a pair, you don't know what to do. Don't add Eckler to it. Like it just one problem after another one.
It's a great pitch. Yeah, it's a really good pitch.
I'm just saying, it's one problem after another.
I already told you you're a great salesperson, so I'm sold. I'm sold. And I know the capabilities that he would bring to this offense. I mean, damn.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to take an easy one. I did it earlier today on Ticket to the Draft, and it's Jalen Travis. Yeah. I have talked to a lot of people, and I think I'm higher on him than a lot of people, but I look at, for a late round tackle, you have to have some minimal thresholds to start in the NFL. Yeah. Right? You have to have arm length, you have to have foot speed. So he's 6'7.5".
Big old house.
He's 340. He's got 35-inch arms. He ran a 5.1 40 at the combine. He's got a 35-inch vertical. He transferred from Princeton, so smart dude, to Iowa State. You watch the first 6 games of the year at Iowa State, struggled a bit. You watch the last 6 games, played really well. Yeah. Has a really good feel for being big and being in the way. And for tackles who can pass protect, they usually find a way to play football in the NFL.
They're going to find a home.
That's exactly right. So when I look at him, I say in a class that's devoid of tackle talent, right? At the top.
Yeah.
It's thin, right? We've talked about that a
Yeah,
lot.
because it's questions about Will Campbell. It's questions about, like, every last one of them.
Yeah, it's thin at the top. You move down, you're like, well, maybe Anthony Belton, but he's probably going to be in the 3rd round, right? And Commanders don't have a pick there. You're down the 4th, 5th round, there's nobody who can play tackle in the NFL. And
all the tackles had to move to guard.
And I see Jalen Travis, and I'm like, that's the one that I hold up on a pedestal and say, if you need someone late to play right tackle in the NFL, that's the guy. And so that's my sales pitch on Jalen Travis.
Give me his measurements again, because they go to sale pitch.
6'7.5", 340.
Yep.
5'1", 40, 35-inch vertical.
All right.
Like,
RV.
Yeah.
All right, they're just like telling the kids, we going up, we're going across the United States for the summer. Get in that RV.
And so for his movement skills, former basketball player, like I just feel like
works.
For a late round tackle, that's the guy you want to find.
Yeah.
Tanner, you got one? You've been big on Mike Green lately, but
I've been big on Mike Green, but I'm gonna go with somebody who's not in nobody's radar. And he's in a lot of people's radar, but I know we talked about him earlier, a week ago, and y'all said y'all didn't like the way he ran. Azareye'h Thomas.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why I'm going to talk about him, because me and my cousin coached him at Florida State. And
is he a good kid? You know if he's a good kid?
That's what he is. You know what I mean? Like, we could sit here and talk about, tangibles.
Yeah.
But I want a guy that I know that's going to be all about football. Mm-hmm. And then when you talk about adding him to a secondary where, you know, this is probably one of the most improved secondaries in the whole NFL.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I just saw it.
Yeah.
I saw these guys go out there and bring in guys, add guys from the safety position, add guys from the cornerback position that I know this kid can learn from. Then you got another guy on the other side that just came in here and just played flat out. And Sanders still. Yeah. Just think about what a younger guy going to come in and say, okay, I want to be like that. I want to be able to be tutored. What pick Sanders still bring? What did you do last year that made you so special in this defense? And with the coaches, I don't have to say much, but the thing that I'm going to hold up high beyond tangibles and measurables and all that stuff, God-fearing man. Mm-hmm. We know what that takes you. Yeah. And knows football. All he wants to play is ball.
Football or nothing.
He ain't thinking about nothing outside. He ain't thinking about how fast his car gonna be. Yeah. He wants to go out there and play football. And he has the size to go out there. And when you talk about one of our guys that we replacing him with, and
St. Juice.
Yeah. He got the size to go along with it. I talked to my cousin briefly, and I said, hey, bro, just tell me what you think about him. I watched this game a little bit. What do you think about him? He said, Tanner, he ain't run well. So everybody, you know, they got their up and down, you know, thoughts on him. But if you want a guy to come in and play ball, if you want a guy that's well coached and that's going to be coachable, that's your guy. No matter where you're picking him at, if you want a football player, he's one of them.
That's a great sales pitch because I think that's ultimately like the pitch you're going to get in the war room. Is that kind of pitch? Like he loves ball. Yeah. He's competitive. He's tough. Yeah. Right. Yeah. When I hear that and I watch the film, because you know he did run slow. Yeah. But I see a competitive. Yeah. A dog-ass competitor.
Florida State didn't have much, but he stood out.
Yeah, like he's willing to tackle. He'll get up and challenge you. You watch him at the Senior Bowl.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen Santana feel sorry for Florida State. I think he had a look in his eye like, y'all don't sell Florida State out. They all right.
They still in Florida, man. I got to show them some love.
I think you have true sympathy. Yeah, you know, I know they ain't good, but don't Cookman whooped them last year.
All right, let's not forget our guy. Forget our guy, just the guy.
Can I sell you one? Because I watched a lot of guys this year for the Ticket to the Draft. Probably no, it's not. Okay. All right, we already on the Ticket to the Draft. We've talked about all these guys, so I'm bringing them up again. But I'm going to sell you on this guy because I don't think we sold him hard enough on the last Ticket to the Draft pod. And that's Alec Maynard, the wide receiver from Stanford. He is so good. Tana, he's 6'2", 210. He's a true X. He hasn't played a lot of football, as Jeremy Green told us around. He's only played like 30-some games, so he's still young and fresh.
Tell who else talks Maynard up. Listen.
Fred Smoot does, but you never know it because he can never pronounce his name correctly.
Oh, yeah, you can't say his name.
So you have no idea who he's talking about, but it's this guy. Alec
Maynard.
Oh, that was close, actually.
Maynard.
From Stanford. All right, so here's the thing is like, the thing that sold me when watching his tape was actually not from last year. It was from 2023 because I wanted to see a matchup against a top-tier corner. So they played Colorado, which is Travis Hunter, who was on him.
Yeah.
And he was shut down the first half. Didn't get a target his way. Game was getting a little bit out of hand. Stanford comes storming back, and he gets 290.
Oh, yeah, he went off on them. I remember that game.
Off on Travis Hunter.
He went bananas.
He is good.
Yes.
And when I say he's raw, when I say he's raw, like you said, he ain't played but 2 games.
Yeah, you see,
4 games in high school.
I'm not a name person. I just knew that. I knew who you are talking. Once you say he went off in the second, I know exactly who you're talking about.
294, 3 touchdowns,
he went bananas.
and that's with arguably the best corner in the draft, Travis Hunter.
All I know, he
didn't matter.
fed them green eggs in hand. That's what I know. And if you really know athletes, you can look and tell, like, ooh, he really doing this, and he don't know much.
Yeah, he don't know much.
Like, wait till you put a brain in his head.
Yeah. He got that brainless. That what he was.
He out there like, listen, he out there like a scarecrow. He just want a brain.
Oh my God.
Nah, but he did seem raw. You know,
Just
when
raw.
I watched that game, he just seemed like a guy that he was doing things that he was like, it ain't nothing really. This is what my ability can allow me to do.
They told me to run out,
But
so I
if you really
did.
can, if you really get somebody behind
What?
him,
And don't let him get on the team with a real
like that.
savvy veteran that don't use athletic ability to get open.
Yeah.
He gonna turn into a beast.
Yeah,
like
like
he
that.
would be one of them guys that bloom like a
And then he also a different body type.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't really
good
have
body
that.
type.
Yeah.
That's a good one right there, Jay.
I like
you know,
that.
I agree
Oh,
with
boy.
you 100%
Looks
right
like
there.
Tarzan.
I do like that.
Hey, listen, I agree with Jay on that one right there.
All right, and just the guy Jason, he just walked out, and now Hater Jason's here.
Oh, there you go.
Spreading that hate. I don't respond well to hate.
It's amazing that there can be hate coming up on the draft.
It is crazy.
It's a time of hope, but it doesn't matter. There's some fans that just have hate, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, most definitely. You are.
Guys, we just don't have enough draft picks to be effective in this draft. I'm upset. We're not going to get that much better.
First of all, great teams in this league don't depend on draft picks. All right, great teams in this league don't go into the year worrying about drafting the first round and need him to start. If you need your first rounder to start, you're a mediocre team. All right, we are going to play. Our draft picks are icing on the cake. All right, maybe they play, maybe they don't. But on good teams, we don't depend on cheering. All right, that's how we say it down south. Cheering.
Cheering.
We don't depend on cheering.
Preach to him.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's something that a lot of teams would be concerned about, but I'm not concerned about it really because Adam Peters is our GM.
Yeah.
And so I look at last year, he signed a bunch of UDFAs. 3 of those guys made the team.
Yeah.
You know, they made the active roster. So there's other ways to get young, talented players in the roster.
Yeah.
And also if you're more selective with your 5 and hit on those 5 and make sure you identify what is a commander, which I think Adam's going to do.
Yeah.
Like you increase the hit rate. Then plus the work you do in free agency, the stuff we did with the trades.
That
like,
supplements
that all
the draft, right?
works together.
Thank
That
you.
all works together. So it's not, you can't just look at the picks as the variable because it's part of a larger landscape of how do we do with UDFAs? How do we do in free agency? Like what those picks went to bring in good players.
Well, first of all, it's no Laramie Tunsil in this draft. So if we gave up the 29th pick, we won the trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's bigger than Nino Brown. It's bigger than the draft. And they showed you. In the free agency world, they went out there and got the best of the best.
Yeah.
When it came time to trade for those guys, they went out there and got some of the most available guys that we can get in the trade. If Fred said it best, and I hate saying that he said it best, but if you got to go in the draft like we did last year and bank on Jaden Daniels to be out there and be the quarterback he was and hit, because that was one of those guys you rarely see you hit on the court.
Just not had that year.
We hit.
Yeah.
We hit. We didn't only hit with a
Ooh,
quarterback.
that's like when I throw them dice, right there.
Don't fail me now.
That sound?
Hey, 7 on JD5, right? So you don't normally get those opportunities, and so if we had to do that twice, if we had to bank on hitting again this draft, then we're not a very good team. So that tells you where we drafting that we sit in a great spot. That's why I like us sitting at 29. It tells you that we had a great season, but it also tells you that we don't even have to go up and get more guys because we have enough. We have enough guys to go out there and be competitive now. We just want to add to those guys in this draft.
That's some young talent. I mean, Hater, does that make you feel better maybe? No.
Should have known.
Well, we have too many needs on this team in too many positions to be able to draft best player available. Everyone says that, but we just don't have the ability to do it. We're not good enough yet.
So I've heard this before too. What's the biggest need on the team?
Everybody love to say pass rusher and wide receiver. Then they throw Kona in there. Let me tell y'all something, sick individuals. All right. This is not the way things go.
Sick individual.
Yeah,
Oh, my
the
God.
reason we can go best player available is because of what we did in trade scenarios. All right, we needed another receiver to pair up with Terry. We got that player in Debo Samuels. All right, we needed a left stalwart left tackle, which these guys don't come free. All right, so the football guys gave us love for what we did for the 49ers with Trent Williams. So they give us Laramie Tunsil. So now we don't have to get these guys in the draft, because if we had to depend on a left tackle in this draft to come be Laramie Tunsil, it wasn't happening. All right? I don't think it's a Debo Samuels in this draft either. So to get Jonathan Jones, to get Wise, to get these guys that been there and done that, we just stacked the roster with depth that we can't find in a draft, depth that we can trust. This is what I get with free agents. This is what I get with trades. Guys been there, done that, depth with trust.
I'm going to drop the mic for him because I don't need to say nothing.
I mean, that's exactly right. I don't think. I think when you look at the roster, I don't see a spot where you have. There's
glaring.
Not like I have to get this guy. Like sometimes you look at teams, you're like, they need a tight end. They need this. They need that. Like
That was us last year.
this is the thing I think fans have a hard time with. Did we sign the most exciting names in free agency?
No.
But did we sign guys that I've watched, that Fred's watched, that Santana's watched, that are above average football players? Yes. They're going to make this team better? Yes. Have they added depth? Yes. Do we want to get younger and more talented? Absolutely. But that's what the draft's for. And that's where best player available comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because like I don't need to draft an offensive lineman. I don't need to draft a defensive end. I don't need to draft a corner because of some of these additions. If we do, we're adding depth and creating more talent. I think that's what that means.
And also I want to encourage y'all, don't always go for the new shiny toy. We still got guys like Taylor Owens on this team that want a job. We got Hampton. People forget about Hampton. Okay, like
Jeremy McGee.
We got Baptiste. He's coming into his own. Give these guys a chance to show you. I got better also.
Yeah. And so I think this is what every team goes through. I think every fan base goes through a version of this. It's like, everyone wants Myles Garrett. Like, I want Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
But when you look around the landscape of the NFL, not every team is constructed that way.
But also they wanted Sweat from the Eagles and pay him $70 million.
Yeah.
All right, so now you can reach. That's what free agency is.
Yeah.
Reaching, overpaying, reaching. It's a contest.
Yeah.
If we don't draft, insert prospect here, then we lose the draft. We have to get this guy at all costs. He's a blue chipper. And if you don't go after him, then what are we even doing?
What player do we insert here?
Yeah, I hate this take. When I see this on,
It's cringy.
I hate it because it shows me you haven't watched.
You never know.
Watched enough.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because if you're like, who would you plant your flag for in this year's draft class? Like that you're saying this player is guaranteed and definitively better than these.
Nobody outside the top 10.
Yeah.
All right. Now here go the thing they're gonna say. Everybody wants an edge. Everybody wants an edge. If I hear edge one more time, I'm about to lose it. All right, edge. Now, the edge they'll say right now is if Mike Green slide to it, we got to get him. All right? If James Pierce Jr. slides to it, we got to get. I think because they so edge hungry and these guys are actually might be there when we pick it, I think those the two that the fan base will lose it over if we just say they're there and then we trade out.
Yeah. And again, like I just look at like edge is a fine example. We can talk about them. Like obviously there's Abdul Carter who's a different tier, but then you get into like tier 3, tier 4.
Yeah.
And it's marginal, man.
Yeah.
It's the difference between Landon Jackson and Emeka Mbuka or Landon Jackson, Samar Stewart or Nick Scorton and the kid from Georgia, Michael Williams. It's marginal.
Yeah.
Right? There's blemishes with all these guys. So when I hear fans make this take like we have to get this player, it's like you haven't watched enough film.
Yeah.
It's really what it boils down to me. It's like because you would know that that's not how this works. That's not necessary in this year's draft. And of all the years I've covered the draft, this is the one year where it feels like it's the least true. Right? It's the least true in this year's draft.
Just go and say what you don't want to say as a draft specialist.
What?
This is the most unsure year of draft speculation of all time. People are unsure about the quarterbacks top to bottom.
Yeah.
They unsure about the wide receivers top to bottom. They unsure about the left tackles and right tackles top to bottom. The only positions that they saying, no, it's some gas in this draft is running back and D tackle.
D tackle.
Them are the two positions they saying, oh, it's some dogs in here. All right. Even in that corner, they saying at the top 40.
Maybe.
Picks. But after that, they feel like it's none there.
Kind of same thing with tight end, too. Everyone's like, it's a deep tight end class. I'm like, after you get after the top 3-4 guys, it's
just you guys talking about the fans and just that question. When that question popped up when I first saw the rundown, the first thing popped in my mind, I had no player in mind. I said, if you don't draft a fan pleaser, you lost the draft. Because that's what it's about. Now, I watched the Philadelphia Eagles boo Donovan McNabb off the stage. And he took them to 4 NFC championships. Back to back to back. Damn near back to back to back. So to me, it's all about the fan pleasers. If the fans not pleased with the guys they consider it a loss.
And I watched the Jet fans cheer when they drafted Zach Wilson with that number 2 pick.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. I'm not putting the player there. It's all about pleasing the fans.
Yeah, no, drop the mic for Santana right there.
I don't want to please the fans in April. I want to please them
Damn sure don't.
In late December, January, and February.
No, I think that's 100% right. So is Hader, do you feel good about that? You feel better?
I feel great, guys. I had a little draft anxiety just because we're getting up there and there's a lot going on. And a lot rides on this because you're invested, right?
I like when the real Jason
I'm
pops
invested
back
in this
up.
team. I'm invested in the success. I want them to do well. I want every pick to hit. Of course, that doesn't happen, but I wish it could.
I just say hashtag fans, don't forget about last year's pick. We turn the page so quick, man.
We got so many of them that
we got some dudes that's marinating, getting ready right now. Like they saying Edge, and I'm saying Jean Baptiste. Did you see him get in the games last
Look at
year?
your face right now.
No, because people are so quick. Think about it. All right, my rookie year, we had an undrafted free agent. All right? Y'all know who I'm talking about.
No.
You don't?
Do you know who he's talking about?
Your rookie year.
Antonio Pierce.
Oh, okay. I forgot about Pierce was the damn. He was in our class.
Yes, Antonio Pierce. If they was quick to turn the page in Antonio, he don't become a Super Bowl winning champion at the Giants and playing here on 2 number 1 defenses. All right? If you were just quick to turn the page to next year's draft. All I'm saying is sometimes we got some players that didn't show up their first year, didn't even probably get a chance.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to get a chance this year. Dominique Hampton. Nobody's talking about him. I'm more hyped up about Tyler Owens than anybody. I think he's a legit starting safety in this league. And if he get a chance, he can show people that. That's all I'm saying. Don't forget about the old people on the roster.
But no, I think that's a great point. And obviously you can tell we're really excited about the draft this year. Can't wait to watch it. Make sure you tune into that live footage, right? We're on an hour before. Draft starts at 7. We're on at 6. We're on for the pick, and then make sure you hit that notification button because we might have Adam Peters or Dan Quinn on to talk about the pick, which would be extremely exciting. And again, you're not going to get that kind of coverage anywhere else. So we're excited. We know you're excited. Please make sure you tune in for that content, and please make sure you like and subscribe to this show, to all the other Commander shows, wherever you get your podcast, wherever you watch the show on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Fred, I think that's
we'll see you at the National Harbor on Saturday too to really celebrate. We just going down.
There we go.
What he said.
So, see you guys there.